who would be doing a better job as president? Guess who comes out on top? Within the margin of error, but comes out on top. This looks a lot like the election result, right? Trump 45%, 2 points ahead of Harris at 43%. 12% say they'd be doing about the same. But this is the key nugget here. It's not just about regretting that vote. It's literally saying who would be doing the better job right now. And Trump continues to score a higher percentage of the vote than Kamala Harris.
Say it's going to be the best economy anybody has ever seen. Look, we got a market that is reflecting that, and he's just done a huge deal with Ukraine, establishing this U.S.-Ukraine Reconstruction Investment Fund. What are we waiting on? We are waiting on India. We are waiting on South Korea. We are waiting on Japan. We could see trade deals there. And, of course, we are waiting on next week with the European Union coming up with its own proposals. No doubt that is going to include a proposal to lower tariffs between the U.S. and Europe. And then we'll see what happens with China. That's the biggie. Already they're quietly exempting U.S. Goods from tariffs in China. So that's a positive. And that is why we've got this market rally underway.
So who do you trust more on the U.S. main problems? The main problems in the United States? Well, what do we have here? It's the same exact picture, folks. It's the same exact picture. When you match Donald Trump against his actual competition, Donald Trump comes out ahead. Look at this, 40% to congressional Democrats, 32%. Going to make a big circle here. But the bottom line is, when you look at Donald Trump in a vacuum, it's one thing. But when you actually match him up against folks in the real world, all of a sudden his numbers look considerably better. And when you match him up against his main competition at this point, Democrats in Congress, he is more trusted on the main problems facing the United States right now.
Well, again, Maria, as I said, the Chinese need to de-escalate these high tariffs because there is the equivalent of an embargo, and the Chinese business model is built on selling cheap goods to the U.S. They sell us about 5 times more than we sell them. So, their factories are closing down as we speak. We're going into the holiday season. Orders are placed for that now. So if those orders aren't placed, it could be devastating for the Chinese.
But look here, which party has a better plan? And this is the margin among registered voters. Look at this on immigration. The GOP crushes the Democrats. Look at that. That's a 19-point edge. My goodness gracious. You rarely ever see leads like that in politics these days. How about on the economy, where Donald Trump's numbers have been struggling a little bit? But even there, Republicans hold a 9-point lead. If Democrats think that at this particular point, just because Donald Trump is unpopular, that they're going to run away with it like a Heisman Trophy winner, that is not necessarily the case. These numbers should be a major wake-up call for Democrats.
How quickly the narrative can change, right? For the last 4 weeks, all we've been hearing about is how terrible Donald Trump is, how he's ruining the economy, and how his poll numbers are so incredibly low. However, let his policies sink in a little bit, and what do we have? Oh, incredible job growth that was not expected by the people with the big brains in Washington, and also a stock market that is now booming. And all of the naysayers that said China was going to eat our lunch, well, guess what? Now they're having protests in the streets because their factories are being shut down and the people are being let go without pay. And by the way, the only way Xi Jinping can stay in power over there in China is by keeping his 1.4 billion people employed. Otherwise, there will be massive uprisings, complete unrest, and he might be disappeared himself, okay? So all of this, of course, is predicated on the simple idea that Donald Trump wanted to try something new. But the tariffs, of course, scared everybody with traditional economic thinking. Never mind the fact that Donald Trump actually did them before and they were effective. And of course, never mind the fact that the entire country used to run on tariffs, okay? Now, I'm not saying we're out of the woods yet. I mean, after all, the stock market is fickle and that's not the only indicator of economic health, but we're moving in the right direction. And when people can see something tangible like this, it can really give people hope that the future is going to be better. But of course, the mainstream media is out there trying to gin up controversy wherever they can. And of course, over the last several weeks, it's all been about how Donald Trump is losing support. Donald Trump is a lame duck president. Donald Trump, of course, is losing his mental faculties, and everyone's turning on him. Only, of course, now to realize that's not quite the truth, is it? And this is going to be discovered, much to his chagrin, by Van Jones over on CNN in epic fashion. But before we get to these clips, don't forget to like and comment on this video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
You weren't always a Republican.
No, actually, I come from a family that was like super Democratic. My first time voting, I voted Democrat. I voted for Joe Biden.
What about Trump appealed to you?
Am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah, you can.
I mean, part of it is he's an asshole. I like authenticity.
You voted for Obama then you voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. But 2020, you voted for Donald Trump. What made the change?
I began listening to someone. Her name is Candace Owens. And I read her book. And it just opened my eyes to maybe he's not this person that I have been led to believe that he was.
So you voted against Trump in 2016.
Yes.
But then in 2020, you voted for him?
Absolutely.
Why?
I saw how things were going during his first term, and I was pleasantly surprised, and I was pleased with what was happening. I saw the economy getting better. I saw country relations in certain countries getting better.
What are some things that he's doing that you do like?
For me, I like the border. I just don't like the idea of someone coming here illegally and getting benefits that can serve my community. So that's the reason why I support him on that border policy.
When you think about the border, you think about people coming here who are getting more help than people who live here and who were born here.
Yeah. And I got that perspective not from news channels. I got it from social media. TikTok is like a holy grail. We even see it with the things that we learn about the United States government. Outside of the United States, people are showing Americans, hey, look at what's going on. Do y'all know that your government is doing this? Have you seen this? Have you looked at it from this perspective?
You know, people, when they think about a Trump voter, they usually think about like a white dude with like a red hat on and a pickup truck. And y'all are not that at all. So Donald Trump's team went in, they took down Harriet Tubman's picture for a quick minute. They're trying to like knock out the black museums. What does that have to do with the price of eggs, and how does that impact you?
In some ways, it's a slap in the face. In other ways, I don't care. I care more about how I'm going to take care of my children.
I don't think the average American cares about that. I know I am sick and tired of seeing black people sit there and complain about something, but not taking action and steps to actually try to change things in an appropriate manner.
Under the Trump and Biden administration, they came to certain agreements with police departments to be less brutal toward the black community. Trump has now ended all that. How does that help the black community?
I have a lot of issues with police reform and just with how police officers are treated as a whole. My husband is currently going through the process to become a police officer. The amount of hatred that cops get, even the best ones, I think has become a huge problem, because it has been, especially around election times, when it definitely comes out of like, oh no, the cops are bad, the cops hate you because you're black, they're immediately deemed as evil.
This man is talking about running for a third term. Now, what do you think about that?
My third term, for me, absolutely not. I think it's at the end of these 4 years, it's time to move on.
This is a prime example of him trolling people, because people have said, they're like, oh, if he gets in the office, he's going to be a dictator. He's going to try to run for a third term. So he's like, okay, y'all think I'm going to do that? I'm going to mess with y'all and say this to take y'all out.
I thought you loved this man because he's so authentic and he's such a truth teller.
But you need to know the difference between somebody trolling somebody, and this is a prime example of him being a troll.
If you had to do it all over again, would you vote for Donald Trump again, yes or no?
Yes, I would. Now, in the future, I am not a diehard Democrat or diehard Republican. If there were a Democratic candidate who was more aligned for me, then I would vote Democrat.
If you go back in time, would you vote for Donald Trump, yes or no?
Yes.
I think I might know the answer on this next one.
He said yes. It's immediately yes. No, I'm sorry.
If you had to do it all over again, would you vote for Donald Trump, yes or no?
1,000% absolutely yes.
So the main narrative from the leftist media and all of the leftist polling has been that Donald Trump is actually losing support. But if you look at this little panel sitting down with Van Jones, guess what? He's not losing their support at all. They still like what he's doing. And listen to what it was based on, right? The first lady, you have, of course, learning about the truth about Donald Trump, right? All the lies the media were telling. I mean, up until last year, they were still saying, and there actually are still leftists saying, the good people on both sides lie, right? That Donald Trump actually came out in support of war, right? That's complete garbage. It's a narrative that's been debunked even by Snopes, leftist Snopes, okay? But that's still something that is being pushed by the leftists, okay? So, of course, as soon as you see through that truth, you're like, I wonder what else they're lying about. And it turns out Donald Trump's a pretty good guy, all right? And then, of course, you have the other lady coming out and saying, yeah, I actually saw with my own eyes how good the economy was. Okay, you actually lived it. And when people remember that, they say, okay, 4 years under Joe Biden, we remember all that. 4 years under Donald Trump, I remember that too. And one of them was a heck of a lot better than the other. Okay, then you have the gentleman there saying, you know what? It was the social media. It was actually me being exposed to the truth that allowed me to see that, hey, Donald Trump's actually pretty good. I like everything he did, and I'm going to go with him over Kamala Harris because everything Kamala Harris stood for was complete garbage. And when Van Jones tries to bring up the race baiting issues, right? What about the Harriet Tubman statue? What about the cop support, right? We don't really care about that so much as, you know, our own lives, being able to take care of our children and the prosperity they're going to have, right? Which, of course, is just standard operating procedure, right? People will vote for their own interests. And when they see that Donald Trump has a better, brighter future in store for them, of course, they're going to turn away from the Democrats. All right. So I love seeing Van Jones just basically having his whole ideology destroyed around him. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me.